Hello, and welcome to the Physical Therapy Owners Club podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Shields. And today I've got a returning guest, Aaron LeBauer, physical therapist. He is a business coach for PTs, mostly for cash-based PTs, but his focus is to help PTs make more money. He is also a host of another podcast called the Cash PT Lunch Hour with Aaron LeBauer. So Aaron, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you joining me again, man.
Dude, Nathan, thanks for the invite. It's always great to be here and, share the knowledge that I've gained, because I don't want to hold on to it. It takes too much space in my head. I got to get it out.
That's why I have successful PT owners like you on, simply to be a resource, because you have so much knowledge to share and share from your experience, of course. If people would like to hear about your personal or professional story, I first reference them back to our previous episode with you. We won't rehash that. We'll just do the Cliff Notes version and say, Aaron has built a successful cash-based physical therapy clinic. He is also a successful coach for PTs and has done so over a lot of hard work over you've had a cash-based clinic for over a decade, right?
Yeah. So I opened my cash practice in 2009, right when I graduated from Elon's DPT program. And I've been helping other people start and grow and scale their business since 2013, I think.
All right. Cool. So the reason I wanted to bring you on, and I know you've got plenty to say about it, is there's got to be something that in-network PT clinic owners can learn from the out-of-network guys, the cash-based guys, whether it's marketing or how we do things, how we convert, how we talk to physicians, whatever it is. I know you've got a ton of ideas, so I'm kind of let you take the stage here. And let us know what could in-network physical therapy owners learn from you guys?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's one, what I want you to just prod me or clarify, but because I have a brain that goes in 10 different directions sometimes.
Sure.
But I think the biggest difference is the number one objection that we have isn't copay is too much, or I don't have enough time. It's, do you take my insurance? And so I've had to develop marketing and sales strategies that get people who would otherwise go down the street and pay $20, $50, even $150 for a copay to come and pay us, up to $250 an hour or $2,000 for a plan of care, and forego their insurance benefits.
Yeah.
Without logically explaining that you might actually save money coming see us, you might not. Like, it's not a logical conversation. We have to create a whole system of marketing that allows people to do that. And I think the one problem that I see most traditional clinic owners make, it's not a problem or a mistake that they would recognize, because but it's that physical therapy, the actual service of physical therapy and the reimbursement from the insurance is the top of the value ladder in the clinic. It's like like, we're going to do all these things, and then where we make our money is delivering physical therapy. But the reason I see that as the problem is because insurance is decreasing, right? But that's not the top of the value ladder. And value ladder is where we have what on the left, it's something that costs me less time or very little time, and the prospect has to pay, doesn't really pay anything. Like, maybe it's a free ebook and they give me their name, phone number, email. And then the next thing is, like in our clinic, would be a total body diagnostic for $35. It's a 20-minute visit, which is basically a sales visit. And then we have our $2,000 8-visit plan of care. And then after that, we have a wellness warrior program. And for us, all of it's cash. But the people I've seen do this really well, and I'm going to shout out my friend Greg Todd. Greg has a clinic he's got 2 or 3 locations down in Tampa, but they're making tens of thousands of dollars every month on all their wellness programs. And it's not just a gym membership. So I think the number one thing is if we look at physical therapy, or even like whether it's Medicare is a better payer now than I think it used to be. Exactly. Like it used to be, it's pretty consistent, right?
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, there were some other companies that would pay better than Medicare. Now I think people are like, oh, Medicare is pretty consistent, paying $80 a visit or $85.
Yeah.
And I think what we have to do is look at it as like, okay, how can I set up my business so that Medicare or Blue Cross or United Health or whatever the insurance is that I'm willing to still accept, that's going to be decently profitable. How can that be the reason people come in the door, but we have other programs to keep them so that they stay? Like, right? So what is the grocery store? They put the milk and cookies and basically the French toast ingredients up front, you know, in case of emergency or whatnot. It's the reason you come in. But actually it's like what the grocery stores do. They put their loss leaders actually in the back of the store. So you have to walk by all the other profitable items. So can insurance be the reason people come into our business, but we have other products and services, whether there's vitamins, supplements, gym programs, health coaching, whether it's, you know, like, I wouldn't say massage is a very profitable, I've employed a massage therapist and been one. It's not, but are there other like wellness services and programs we can put people through to generate income that's not like insurance-based rehab and pain reduction? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you have to focus on all those things. It sounds like you've got a menu essentially of what you can provide a patient that's not just physical therapy, period.
Right.
They can pick and choose some of the other things that they might actually come to your clinic for and pay cash for.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of in-network providers consider that, or maybe they do, but they don't spend a lot of energy considering it.
Right. Because you're probably here. I would say your energy is probably spent on how do I, you know, maximize my insurance collections.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But what if insurance collections was the thing that paid for the advertising and the revenue came from what's next, right? Like whether it's a return to sport program or, you know, what is it the insurance isn't really going to cover, but you know, there's a huge gap between us and getting someone back from a labral tear to competing in CrossFit again, right? Like there's a huge gap. Like people, you know, whether or triathletes or you know, runners, cyclists, like there's a big gap there, and we can create programs and memberships and even group training programs where people are getting a specialist physical therapist, maybe even a doctor to supervise their return to performance, and they'll pay cash for that. Blue Cross won't.
Yeah, exactly. And those are programs that people might look into. And I guess the thing that keeps coming to my mind is, how do you get people to potential patients, potential customers, to get past the "do you take my insurance" mindset? What do you do to overcome that or work around it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I've said to people, I was like, well, if only people who, you know, took insurance marketed as hard as we did, you shouldn't have you shouldn't really have a problem as long as your amount collected is profitable, right? But people still have the problem. So what we have to do on the front end is build so much value to our patients about the transformation that we can help them make, about their goals, touch their wants, needs, and desires, that by the time we get to the price and the price of the program, they're like, well, Dr. LeBauer is going to help me get my life back, so a couple $1,000s is nothing. You know, we have to build that up versus where your orders, you know, and we're going to do in air quotes, the physical therapy 3 times a week for 6 weeks because someone else made the decision. So for me, when someone calls us and says, my doctor gave me a prescription for the physical therapy, which is basically what they'll call it, the physical therapy, they're not calling us to help them make a decision, and they won't be our patient because I'll probably recommend they come in once, maybe twice a week, not 3 times. There's no one I see 3 times a week.
Got it.
But just even if it was in network, that would be a deal breaker because I wasn't the one that made the decision with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about it. You weren't the decision maker in that. The doctor referred them over to you. So you weren't the decider as to if they should get physical therapy or not?
Right. Oh, so I haven't made that decision with them. So in that role, like I'm basically the technician, and it's going to be really hard to change the course of care if someone's coming to see me with a prescription for physical therapy. And so in North Carolina, we've had direct access for over 30 years. And I'm lucky that I grew up here and I got into the profession. I was like, oh, no different. But the big thing is if someone comes to see me because of my marketing and our social media and our emails and the website, and they come in for a visit and they allow us to work with them to create a plan, they're much more likely to agree to my plan of care than if they're coming in and they don't. The only reason they're coming to see me is because they found me online because someone recommended us because we were close or we were the first search result. The reason they're coming isn't because they made the decision with me. They made it with their other provider who, thank God they recommended physical therapy, because most orthopedic surgeons won't recommend physical therapy first, right? But they made this decision with someone else. So it's really hard for me to change the course of care when they have this piece of paper that says what they need. Does that make,
I think I know where you're going. And so I think the next step for most in-network providers or owners is then, what is your marketing message so that you get them in the door? Where have you found success, either in the channels that you're using or in the message that you're putting out there?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So there's 3 different things that have been most powerful. One, it's word of mouth. So this is the easiest for everyone, but it's not just like tell your friends and tell your friends to do X, Y, and Z. We have to cultivate word of mouth by getting, by requesting referrals and reviews, by making it easy for our patients to send others to us. So a lot of people have great word of mouth, but they don't cultivate it. So there's a way to ask. There's also our website, and I would say our website / Google Maps, but really it's our people come to our website, and it's a website for our patients, not about me or my degrees or the treatment like skills that we have, but the problems. It reflects the problems people are experiencing.
Okay.
And so our website does a lot of different things, but it reflects to patients like, here's the problems you're probably experiencing, and we've helped these people like you do X, Y, and Z, and here's some information you can get to learn about, why you have this problem and what you can do about it. And what you can do about it leads you to, hey, physical therapy is the thing. But I'm not trying to sell my degree and certifications or even physical therapy. I'm trying to get them to understand that we help people go from frustrated and in pain to doing things that they were told they could never do again, right? Like run, lift, squat, right? I mean, we've all heard patients say, oh, my doctor told me never to lift 35 pounds again. And it's like a new mom with a 2-year-old and she's holding on to him. The 2-year-old already weighs 50 pounds. And you're like, okay, so never lift more than 35 pounds again. Like, this is just, okay. But instead of marketing physical therapy and like, hey, we treat ACLs and labral tears and X, Y, and Z, it's talking about, here's the type of people we help, and here's the result we help you get. And here's some other people like you that have had success. And that drives our marketing message, because if a person finds us and they like that, and then they apply to work with us and we make a decision, we go through the eval with them, they're much more likely to pay us in cash, do all their home exercises and get better and tell their friends than, I really like
the message that you're putting out there. It falls in line with a book that I read maybe in 2019 called Building a Story Brand. And I forget the name of the guy, but the whole idea being that people see their lives as a story and they are the hero of that story. And what we're promoting as physical therapists is that we will come in and be the hero to your issue, whereas that's not what they're looking for. Right. They're looking for the guide so that they can
We're succeed. The Sherpa and we're Obi-Wan. They're Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're trying to be Luke Skywalker and save them.
We're coming in saying, we're going to fix it all for you. We're going to kill it and do great things. And this is how we're going to do it because of all these letters behind my name. Whereas the message should be more along the lines of what you're talking about. This is how we help you. This is what happens when we work with people. They go from this to this. And that's what people want to see. They want to see, okay, who can be the guide to make me the hero of this story? Right. And that's what it sounds like your message is coming across.
Yep, exactly it. And it's how do we speak to patients, not just in our words, but through our marketing, our website, our social media, in ways that resonates with them, because they don't know what physical therapy is. They think it's like hot packs, leg lifts, and ultrasound, or that it didn't work, right? Oh, I tried physical therapy before and it didn't work. And like, well, physical therapy is much more complex than the thing that works or not.
Exactly. Well, it's become commoditized so much over the years. I mean, and you wouldn't say that about a dentist that says, oh, dentistry doesn't work for me. Well, no, you just find another dentist, right? But
or you lose your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. So it hasn't kind of worked that way for our profession, but we've kind of been lumped together like that. But you said there were three things. So you focus on word of mouth and your website, but really quickly regarding cultivating word of mouth. So you guys are actively working or I wouldn't say working, you're actively promoting your word of mouth referral program in the clinic on a regular basis. I'm assuming that's something that's just routine, huh?
Yeah. So here's how I do that. It's, basically you come in and we see you and we make a plan. Great. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'm on a mission to help, 100,000 people in Greensboro avoid expensive imaging and unnecessary surgery. And if I can help you reach your goals of running a 5K and feeling strong, healthy, and confident, so you can be a good role model for your daughter, do you think you can help me reach my goals? And she'll say yes.
Perfect.
And then I say, great. Well, when the time comes, I'll let you know how you can do that. And then, visit number 5 or 6, when she's like, oh my God, I feel better than I ever have. That's when you say, hey, can we shoot a little video of you saying that? Or would you mind leaving us a Google review? So that's one part of it. And then also all our new patients, they get a specific email series from us. And in some of those emails, we're asking them to refer their friends or giving them ways to share about our business or our group and all that stuff.
Yeah. Here's a link to Google reviews. This is a link that you can send to your friends and family, making it really easy and simple for them, I'm assuming.
Right. And something valuable, like, hey, we just came out with a brand new book on back pain. If you know anyone who might benefit it, just send them this link. And versus just like review us. I don't want anyone to just review us. I want people who feel compelled to review us. So the email helps and that initial conversation helps, but what really it comes down to is if I can set it up in the beginning, when the time comes and they're happy, then I can ask them. Well, they've already been pre-framed that kind of the consequence of getting better is telling other people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
cool. All right, so we talked about word of mouth, website. What's your third channel? What's your third avenue?
It's just social media.
Yeah, you really hitting that hard.
Yeah, and this year's been a great year to do it, and it's not just social media. It's not Facebook ads. It's just being present in the conversation where people are. I mean, I think prior to this year, like definitely, anytime I can do an in-person workshop, but in-person workshops are a lot harder to do right now.
Yeah, pandemic and all.
And we can do them online, but where are people right now? It's social media. It's like they're on their phone. And so I've got YouTube. I've got over 1 million views on our clinic's YouTube page.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What are you posting on your YouTube page, man? Is it all like how to get better, how to improve your shoulder and back, or are there other things also?
There's other things. The most popular ones are I did a self-massage for your feet video. And I did this about 10 years ago. But within the first 30 days, all of a sudden I got 20,000 hits. And I was like, what happened? And a foot fetish community got a hold of it and posted it on one of their forums or websites and just got tons of views. And that one has 250,000 views.
That's awesome.
That's and cool. I've got one on, I was cutting a chicken and I was, I was like, here's some fascia. And I just took my phone and my kids running in the background. And I just was like, oh, this is interesting. And I put it up on YouTube and it's got, I don't know, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. I've got a neck pain relief video.
Sure. And
part of it's like the videos I've put up lately didn't grow as fast because YouTube back then, less people were on it. But over time, it's one of those platforms that the sooner you get on it, the sooner you'll get results with it. Even though it takes time. I do have a video that we put up about 6 months ago, sometime during the pandemic, that's already got 20,000 views.
Nice.
I would have to go look and see which one that was because I do a ton of different videos. But where it's like there'll be things that you don't really know, like what is going to hit, and here's the thing is that people in Greensboro aren't like, oh, I saw your video on YouTube and I got to come see you. What they're seeing is they see us on YouTube, they see us on Google Maps, they see us on Facebook and Instagram, and maybe they'll see our Facebook ad and they'll get our emails and their friends will talk about us, and it's the omnipresence kind of strategy. Yeah. So then we become the go-to for people that are hurt or in pain or have been, are active in Greensboro and want to get, feel better, stay fit, healthy, and strong. Yeah. And like, oh, I got to go see Dr. LeBauer, or I got to go to LeBauer Physical Therapy. And then they look us up and call us and we put them through our system. So I learned long ago that any of the paid advertising is tough when we just say, hey, it's LeBauer Physical Therapy. You deserve to feel great. Call us. Like it's not enough. We have to say any paid advertising we do outside of Facebook ads is educational.
Oh, okay.
You've probably, you've seen Dan Kennedy's stuff. A lot of people might not know who it is, but it's, if you look in a newspaper and you see, or a magazine, and you see what looks like a news article, but it says paid advertisement, that's a direct response type of marketing strategy. Yeah. And it's an informative ad. So we have to create information and educate people and then give them a reason to contact us versus just blast them with our name. And so that's some of the things that we're doing is, that's the main thing that we do with social media.
Well, and I'm thinking about some of the therapists out there that are working, treating full time, and I'm thinking, how much time do you spend on social media work? And do you have someone else doing some of that for you to keep you constantly posting, constantly engaged?
Yeah, that's a great question, because people are like, how would I, what's the number one problem people have, right? The number one fear most business owners have when they go from like really being like self-employed or a small business to, is like, if I want to grow my business, it means I have to work harder. I'm just going to like explode. So I don't do our social media for either my coaching business or the clinic. Yeah. What I do is I'll record a video. And maybe I'll do a Facebook Live video and I make a little caption, or I'll do like an Instagram Live video and do a caption. Then I take the video and I download it and I put it in a Dropbox folder, and someone on my team gets it. And then we create a blog post and content and other images out of it, and we'll pull quotes stuff from it. And then they'll go and post it. And I'll say to Brenna, like, this is awesome. She's like, well, that's exactly what you said. I was like, oh.
That's awesome. That's cool. And it goes back to, I think, since you brought up Dan Kennedy, isn't he the one that recently brought out the Who Not How book?
Oh, no. Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I think that's Dan Kennedy, and he had Benjamin Hardy write it for him. Yeah. But what you're talking about is finding who can do it for you, not how you can do it, right? Because all of us have that limited amount of time. We don't have the expertise. So who can you find to do the social media stuff for you, right? So that it all isn't dependent upon you, right? Yep.
That's Dan. Yes, and it's Dan Sullivan.
Oh, that's Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan and they're both great. Dan Sullivan question is like a great question. So I want to come back to that in a second, but yes, it's who can do this, not like, how do I do it? And it's exactly it. Right. Yeah. Dan Kennedy Dan Kennedy and Dan Sullivan are like two powerhouse people. And so Dan Kennedy, does all the direct response, old school marketing. Dan Sullivan question, you heard, it's like we ask this to our patients, right? Do you know it, Nathan? Do you know the Dan Sullivan question?
I don't.
Okay. So it goes like this. It's like, okay.
I think I know where you're going. Going because I know some of my PT owners have asked this question of their team members. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'd love to hear it.
This is the question we use in our sales process. And as physical therapists, we actually have to sell. It's our duty to sell, an obligation to sell physical therapy. Only when we think people will benefit from it. It's only sleazy if people won't benefit from it. Yeah. But it goes like, the Dan Sullivan question goes like this. It's imagine we start working together and I teach you everything I can and do everything, or teach you everything I know and do everything I can to help you get results. Okay. Now fast forward a year from now. Okay. We're having the same conversation. Looking back over the last year, tell me what's happened in your life, personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress. Not like amazing, not like the best ever, like just happy. Okay. And then people start to answer. And then you basically say, okay, tell me more. And why is that important to you? And that's how I find out, not just that Mrs. Jones wants to get her knee pain resolved because she's afraid of having arthritis, but she wants to be able to run and feel strong and like a good role model for her daughter, right? Which is really what people are paying for.
Yeah.
You know, you can go anywhere and get physical therapy, but where can you go to get in the return to running program so you can feel like a good role model for your daughter? And that's LeBauer physical therapy.
Nice. I love that question, man. And it really gets to the heart of why the patient is coming to see you in the first place, whether they have that prescription or not. But I love that how that question can really get buy-in for a patient to the point where they're not thinking about what the copay is anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Like if you ask that question, no one would care about their $20 to $150 copay. I mean, like my copay this year to CPTs is $150, or maybe it's $175 in 2021.
Yeah, exactly.
You
and
know,
so that at that point they're thinking, well, I'll pay $1,000 to be able to run again.
Yeah.
Who
wouldn't?
Sure.
Right.
And be a role model for my children. Sign me up. How many visits is it going to take? Let's get it on.
Yeah, but just being able to move my knee or run isn't enough. It's why is running important? And then why is that thing important? And then why is that? What's that next? Like, what's that third, fourth, or even seventh level of why? And why is this activity so important? And I think the trap we get into is, you know, and like when I was working in a high volume clinic as a student, I didn't have time to ask half these questions.
That's right.
And even with an eval, we would do like one person, at a time they get an hour eval, but you really didn't get to that. One, that wasn't the questions they asked, but like beyond that, like I didn't have any time to really dive in to what was happening beyond that initial assessment. And we all know after, 3 to 5 visits, people, either get better quick, get better slow, or maybe we missed something and need more time. And it's really tough to not like push people through based on a decision we made a few weeks ago. When I'm being pressured to, as an employee or a student to meet productivity levels or to see a certain amount of people, when I'm like, I got to put my hands on you, but that means I can't talk to this other person and find out how does that exercise feel?
Yeah. Well, I think that'd be a great provider training program just to role play and work through that one question. And then follow-up questions after that. Why is that important? Why is that important?
Right.
Why is that important? To get buy-in, to improve the patient's commitment, so there's less fallout and drop-offs, and also getting their commitment to show up as often or as frequent as you're telling them to show up and do their home exercise programs, that patient engagement. But simply going through that one question, that one exercise, I think could do a lot to improve patient buy-in in any clinic.
Oh yeah. And so what we do is we kind of do that 3 times with them.
Oh, so 3 times.
So people go to our website and they'll go through our website and there's an application actually to work with us. So it's not, you don't have to do it, but that's where about 55% of people do is they go through our website from an email or ad, social media, Google, and they go and there's a inquire about availability, talk to a PT and request a free total body diagnostic. And in that we're asking not just this question, but other questions. We're pre-framing like, that we have other services beyond just physical therapy. So what service are you most interested in? And we'll put all 5 of our services, PT, massage, health coaching, private yoga, performance, etc. in there. 89% of people are choosing PT. And we're asking it. So we got this application. Then when we call them on the phone, we're asking very similar, sometimes the same and sometimes different questions. And then in our free total body diagnostic, we'll ask this question plus others because we want to find out why is this important to people? Because if it's not important enough to them to do anything about, they can't connect with it, they're not going to say yes. We can't show. Exactly. So I need to be able to build value that's worth $10,000 or more dollars, or even like what's the Visa commercial where they say, it's like, we say, the sports cars worth, this is invaluable. I don't know whatever that was. I have to build that because health doesn't have a dollar value, but I have to build a vision of like, there's no way I'm going to get that going down the street or with anyone else. And then when we say, hey, look, Ms. Jones, my recommendation is get into our, return to running or back to the box or, whatever program, your total body complete program, it's just, $19.98, and we'll help you feel better, faster, stronger. So you don't have to worry about damaging your knees, and you can be a great role model for your daughter. How does that sound? And they'll be like, yeah, sign me up. I mean, we do get objections, but it's like, if I can do it right, we don't get objections. And if you're not getting objections, you're not selling. Yeah. So we have to get objections.
And we have to remember that a lot of those purchasing is an emotional process, more so than a logical process. I mean, you'll pay more for things that are illogical. Right? So if you can tie it to the emotional process and where they're going to get better, then you'll actually get a financial commitment in spite of the copays that they have to pay. Because you and I both know that any mother would gladly pay $100 copay each visit if that meant their daughter could get back to playing volleyball.
Right.
Where they wouldn't pay that for themselves to overcome their shoulder because they can't lift it above their head and they haven't been able to do so for 2 years. They won't pay that extra. But if you can get to the heart of it and get to the emotional part of it and tie that to, this is going to get you to that picture that you're of happiness that we're talking about, then the dollar figure can immediately be tied to a value. The value and the dollar amount can be equal, and then they can buy into that.
Right. And time. If we can tie it into time, it's the hard thing, most valuable thing is time. And it's like, how much longer are you willing to wait for this to go away on its own?
That's another good question.
Right. How long have you been trying to fix this problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how much longer is it going to go on if you don't fix it now?
Right. And if I could help you do this in just the next 8 weeks, or at least make a 50% difference, do you think, would you like to give it a shot? Would you like to work with me on that? People are like, yeah, if we can make a 40% change, I would say that because I know I can make a pretty significant change in 3 to 5 visits if I can help someone.
Yeah.
But if they've been struggling with this for 3 months or 3 years and they've gone to 5 different people, look, I know you've been doing this for a long time. Like, do you want to keep struggling? You want to give it the best shot? And, how much time would that be worth to save? If we could save you. And I try not to quantify it because, like you said, it is an emotional decision, but we have to somehow bring in a quantifiable understanding of time lost or gained, and not just money lost or gained, but the time gained has to be greater than the money spent. And if I can get that equation right, then it doesn't really matter. And I think, going back to your original question, what's the thing that like a traditional in-network clinic owner can do is, how do we work on the sales not just the marketing process, but the sales process, and reposition something beyond just like rehab and the physical therapy we're doing, so that people are coming back to see us month after month, because people who've been our customer before were 80% more likely to buy from us again than someone brand new.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
and so why don't from your perspective, why don't you think in-network providers go through these processes? Why don't you think they focus more on the sales, the conversion, getting to the heart of it, or even the marketing process to be more patient-centric?
I think because traditionally, and not like the last few years, it's hard not to make a generalization, but generally, there's not been an objection. Physician says, go get physical therapy. You go get physical therapy. Oh man, my copay is $50. Okay, great. Well, people come to me. I've had physicians say, Aaron, I would send you patients, but only if you took their insurance. I'm like, you don't even know how much I charge. And it's less than some years it's less than the copay. And I've seen personally receipts for physical therapy in outpatient settings where people are being charged $600 and $800 a unit, even $1,000 a unit. So we can't make a judgment on that. I think, going back to my original thing, is if we focus on sales and what's next for people after therapy, just those two things are going to shift. But people haven't been doing it because it's been the way it's always done, and it's just been easy enough.
It's the easiest path.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your prescription, you come to me, I provide you the service, you move on.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas what you're challenging the in-network providers to do, the in-network owners to do, is to think a little bit more. And that
level up
really
level up your sales and back end products and services.
Yeah, right. So think about what more could you provide? How can you make physical therapy simply another option on the menu of services that you provide, right?
Yeah.
With the others being cash-based alternatives that can add some greater revenue, and then consider your conversion process, right? And the sales process, market like you're an out-of-network provider. Right. I mean, you have to, sell what people are going to gain by coming to you versus other people that might charge you more or charge you less. Right?
And then it stopped competing on physical therapy and start selling results that people want. Because when we try to sell physical therapy, it's like, I'll just go wherever it's cheapest or wherever is in network. But if I can sell them the result and something that they want, then they can't get it anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. I love what you're talking about. Anything else you want to share before we wrap things up?
Yeah, based on this, it's like something like dry needling. I think dry needling is a big thing, but people will sell dry needling. It's like, hey, I'll needle you or dry needling is not covered by insurance, so it's a cash-based service. So we're gonna, so if you want to get needled, it's gonna be an extra $50.
Sure.
Okay. Well, then patients are gonna see needling as an a la carte item that if I feel like it works, then I got to go where it's the cheapest. And maybe the guy across town isn't all above the board and they're including needling for free in their treatments. And you're charging me an extra $50. I'm going across the street. The other thing is then people think that it's the hand, and to be, I get dry needled and we provide it, but we don't sell it. So I want to say like I'm not knocking it. I'm saying it's the strategy of selling the treatment technique that I've learned or the treatment technique that I provide allows patients or customers to price shop. Just like physical, they get to price shop. So they'll go wherever it's cheapest. And I've had this done to me and I hate it. I'm like, I guess I missed something in the conversation. So it would be more of how do we create a bigger picture and a bigger goal that people want? And hey, Mrs. Jones, well, good news is your insurance covers 50% of this program. So instead of the $3,000 program, your cost is only $1,500. And if you'd like to pay in full today, I'll give you a 5% discount.
Nice.
Right. So now that includes the therapy the insurance covers, plus the wellness program or the needling that's not covered by insurance and the other things that they need.
Oh, I love that different perspective and the way you package it up like that.
Yeah. Nice. So the good news is your insurance covers 50% or 40% or 10% or your good news is all of our patients have great insurance and we can help you. So whether insurance covers it or not, how about we get started today, getting you some results and we'll take care of the insurance piece together.
Yeah. Cool. I love how you package that. And if there was some way that you could get a provider team to agree on the different packages that you provide and say, hey, this typically costs blank number of dollars, $2,000 if you're going to come to us without insurance, but because you have blankety blank insurance, they're going to cover this much of it. And it'd be cool to like reword that and consider it.
It's like the framing of it.
Yeah, and, totally.
But I'm also including services that are not so I'm including multiple services. So we can break up the charges on the bill or the, however we want.
Yeah.
Right. It's up to us. But what we're framing is a bigger result and how we're going to get you there.
Yeah. I love it. Cool. I love what we can learn from you. And when I say we, the in-network providers can learn from you, because that's where I'm coming from. Because I think it would challenge so many owners if they thought, what if I didn't rely on insurance? And and there's so many owners out there that should be dropping some insurances anyways, that pay less than what their expenses are. You've seen that,
I've worked with a lot of clients who like, I have to drop insurance because I'm losing money no matter what I do.
And they're so scared to do it. And I want to say, if you could just see the benefits of it and try it. And act like you're out of network anyways,
right?
And market accordingly, and change your message and package it accordingly, and provide the value.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to miss that insurance.
And the one ace up your sleeve that you guys have that I don't is you already have the systems in place to bill on behalf of patients in or out of network. Right. I would have to go hire someone new and build new systems or pay someone else
to do that
money that, to do it. But if you've already got it set up, it makes it a lot easier. And it becomes less of a barrier because people will ask you, do you take my insurance? You're like, yeah, we do. We're out of network and this is how we're going to do it. And we'll file the claim on your behalf, or we'll just file it for you.
Exactly.
And that's really the big barrier that I face every day.
Understood. Cool. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. If people wanted to reach out to you, and it's easy to find you on the the Cash PT lunch hour, right?
Yep.
So they can find you on the podcast, but if they want to reach out to you individually, how do they do that?
Yeah, the best way is send me a message over on Instagram at Aaron LeBauer.
Oh, cool.
And you can find all the resources and things that I've got over on my website, aaronlebauer.com.
Gotcha. And LeBauer is Lebauer.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Exactly.
And Aaron is 2 A's, I'm assuming.
Aaron. I'm Aaron.
I love that. Aaron. Cool. Yep. Well, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it, Aaron.
Dude, Nathan, thanks so much. I really appreciate being on your show, and you've got a great podcast voice. So keep rocking and rolling.
Thanks, man. I've got a face made for it, dude.